'cause I've got a plan. You're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, it's true. I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'll never be with you. Yes, she caught my eye as we walked on by. She could see from my face that I was fucking high, and I don't think that I'll see her again, but we shared a moment that will last till the end. You're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, it's true. I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'll never be with you. You're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, it's true. There must be an angel with a smile on her face when she thought up that I should be with you. But it's time to face the truth. I will never be with you.
Smile for me, even if it's shadow. Be good to me, even if you battle. Stay with me, even if you've got some place to be. Pray with me, even if you know this. Smile for me, baby me please. Smile, I want to be the one you be there for. I want to be the one that makes you do the things you thought you'd never do. Let me be the one for you. I want to be your witness, baby.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Election Central. This is our fourth edition of our informative program. I'd like to welcome you all. Today we're going to be having a couple of discussions. First, somewhere in the show, we have the Elections Commission Director for Communication come up and give us a brief update of what's happening at the Elections Commission so that we keep informed. Our key topic today is about shipping to Liberia. So we had hoped to get a whole lot of people involved regularly in shipping. We do have some of them. But let me give us some context. More than 90% of what is consumed in Liberia, from hairpin to airplane, is imported. That means even most of our food, our staple rice, a sizable part of our budget, of our consumable income goes into the importation of rice. So shipping, the importation of commodities into the country is very, very important. The way it is done, the cost that's associated with it, translate to the price of commodities on the market and can determine the economic condition of the people of our country. So today we're going to be talking across different spectrum of producers, of traders, of ordinary individuals who have shipped to Liberia. And so we have an idea of what the process is at. The perception is that there are lots of difficulties. The custom duties are pretty high. We have invited the LRA to participate in the program. Unfortunately, the Commissioner General told me 2 days ago that the title of the program, General Elections Commission, doesn't suggest that they should be participating in it. So I understand that. So we'll do the best we can to talk to people who know a little bit about customs. I would hope that at least it will be coming from the house this month, but we don't have that benefit because our mayor though thought it was not appropriate to send somebody. We have a round of guest panelists that will be here. We'll also keep the lines open today, since this is a topic that is very common to a lot of people, and we'll encourage people to call and have a candid conversation about shipping to Liberia, what the processes are, what the challenges are, and if there are challenges, what some people suggest will be some ways that they can be mitigated. As I have said in the earlier version of this program, the Election Central does not lean towards any political persuasion or opinion. We call to discuss issues about Liberia so that even policymakers who are listening or watching can get the feel of what the public feel. We try as much as possible to bring subject matter experts so that we can get an understanding too on how the policymakers think and what they say they're doing. 2 weeks ago, we discussed electricity in Liberia, and we were privileged to have with us the engineer from LEC, Dele Shabayo. We're privileged to have the country director for Transcom CLSG. They own and operate the transmission line between the 3 Mano River countries, Jerry Taylor. We're also privileged to have Augustus Guano, who is the managing director for the regulatory agency for electricity. And we had a good discussion on electricity. But something had happened last week. The Ivorians, who supply most of the power into the Transco line, for which LEC, the Sierra Leoneans, and the Guineans pool power, the news is that they've had some problem with their power system, and it's drastically reduced the quantity of power that LEC can pull out of Transco. So somewhere in this program today, we've asked either the LEC or the head of CLSG to come on for a few minutes to give us an idea of what's going on and what kind of responses the institutions in Liberia are putting into play to be able to mitigate the limited power that's coming out of Ivory Coast. So for now, we'll start with our issue of shipping. We already have some of our guests in the background. We're going to have today some practitioner from the port, one of whom is Mohamed Lavely. Mohamed Lavely, when I first met him, he was chief of staff for the managing director of the Freeport of Monrovia. That was more than 10 years ago. He has gone to become a maritime expert. He runs his own forwarding agency in Liberia. He worked with APM Terminal for a period, and he's going to be here today. In a short while, I will roll up all the guests. We'll take a short break so that we can do some house cleaning to get to. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Seemed I was muted just now. But what I was saying is that we have our guest lineup. We're trying to do some house cleaning, so we bring everybody in at the appropriate time. I hope we're going to bring in many companies who do trade into Liberia, who export, who collect barrels, people vehicles, so they will discuss some of the things they do, the challenges they face. But a lot of them have cold feet. We have a few who are willing to come and discuss. So we have those discussions. I would like all those who are participating to also be open to joining us, and let's have a conversation. So I will introduce first Mr. Mohammed Labili. He's in Liberia. He runs a freight forwarding company. I've said a little about him earlier, but I'm going to bring him in as is customary, and he's going to speak a little bit about himself. Mohammed, I hope that I think his internet is trying to build up. So as Mohammed is coming in, we'll bring in James Wright. He's a community leader in Canada, and he's also acquainted with the shipping process. I want to bring him in. We'll say a little bit of himself, and we'll just get the show rolling from the soft side. James, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Good. Welcome to Election Central. As I've said, we're discussing shipping to Liberia today, and I'm really happy to have you here. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is James Wright, and I reside in Canada. I've been here for a little over a decade now. I live in the community. I live in a small city in Ontario called Windsor, just 15 minutes from Detroit. So basically, I think that's all we need to know.
So good. All right. What do you know about how do people in Canada ship to Liberia? Is there a few companies that set up themselves to collect people items to send to the families, or could you say something about that? What kind of infrastructure you have in Canada for that?
Oh, yes. When I received your invite, I was able to make contact with two of the shippers, those that normally ship to Liberia. I myself here speaking, I happen to be one of the customers to have sent some barrels through some of these shippers to Liberia. So the two guys that I spoke with acknowledged and they wanted to be here this evening. But the other guy said he's very busy. The guy who is based in Toronto, his name is Diallo. He is still in the shipping business. In fact, he's loading up his stuff to take there. So then I talked to him and said, well, since you're not able to be there because of your obligations today, will you be able to highlight a few points that you consider constraints when you're shipping commodities or goods or your barrels or container to Liberia? He did that. I have it here.
So
the second person who lives.
Jim, if I understand you right, you said that he listed some constraints saying he wouldn't be here and shared that with you, right?
Yes. He listed some constraints as a shipper to Liberia, some of the things and hassles that he goes through while shipping his goods to Liberia. Because I really wanted his input, he acknowledged, he agreed to be here today, but then unfortunately, he happened to be caught up in his own work that he's now trying to load his container today because it should have been done yesterday.
Okay.
That's why.
So tell us about his challenges.
All right, so Diallo, who is a present shipper, he's still in the shipping business. Yeah, he did acknowledge that there are a lot of constraints. Say, for example, he said there are duplications of service charges. Example, CTN. And he wrote something they call MedTech, MEDTECH, which serve the same purpose as tracking the containers out there. That is first point, duplication of service charges at the port. He said it's kind of draining their budget. So as a shipper, he doesn't make much from there. But however, he still agreed to be in the business. The second point he raised, it happens to do with internet services at the port. He said, which keeps the system down for days. And he went on to elaborate on that, saying that normally when you ship a container to the port, they have a duration what the port administration gives you to be able to pick up your container. Beyond that point, they will start to administer charges on your goods. So what they normally do, we look at that as a bottleneck, is that when you get there and your container arrive, they give you the delay charges so you can forfeit the time set to be able to free all your container as a means that will be able to charge you for your goods overstaying in the warehouse. He said that he thinks is very deliberate because normally when their goods arrive or a container arrives, he can be there in time to clear out. But then they will tell him, say, oh, the system is down, we're not able to do that. And they blame that on the customers, those who are doing business there. And then normally they will charge them again as an extra or additional charge onto whatever charges that is being administered at the port. And then he mentioned, third point here. Okay, I think it's important to that. He said after the 5 days storage fees by ATM terminal, more than 5 days period should do well for us. He making a suggestion. He said whatever it is, if they can maintain the 5 days period for clearing, if you go beyond that, he agreed there should be some charges. But if the system will have to deliberately delay their goods at the port in order to be able to get these charges, he thinks it's not good. So these are the three key points he mentioned here. He sent me, he wanted me to put it on the show this evening.
So Juma is 2 points plus a recommendation. Let me restate it if we can get it. He said first thing, he has experienced duplication of charges.
Yeah.
For example, he said that the charge for container tracking, there are two different groups that are charging
entities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he says that there's most of the time internet problem, and as a result of that, there's delay in clearing, which is not a fault of the cargo owner, right? So internet clearing, basically, they have a system called Asekuda that the custom has that you have to electronically put in the processing to clear your cargo. But the APM terminal that runs the port gives you 5 free days to clear your containers. So if there are delays beyond the 3 days, 3 days, then you begin to pay daily charges for every extra day that the container is import, up to 90 days. After 90 days, the container is declared to be abandoned, and then it's eligible to be auctioned by the MPA. The Freeport Mohammed is trying to come in. I hope he can give us an elaboration on this. So we'll hold on to you, Jumo, for those 3 points. I'm bringing in another shipper, a friend David, who is in the Houston area. He ships a lot. We have him on. I don't know whether he was able to hear the points you raised, but I'll bring David and the second. David Sina, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, we're discussing with shippers on the challenges that they have in shipping to Liberia, and we have you. If you can say a little bit about yourself, how you are related to this program, whether you ship to Liberia, and then tell us what is your experience shipping to Liberia? What are some of the things that you've noticed to be good, some of the things that you noticed not to be too good, and what do you suggest that can be done about it?
I've been shipping to Liberia since 2000. It's about 20 some odd years now, but increasingly the problems are just continuing every time, we ship. Right now, as I speak, I primarily use the Guinean port to avoid the kind of charges they have on shippers in Liberia because the time frame, especially getting charging what you call it, CTM number, the time frame to get it, you got limited time to clear your container out of port, and then this CTM process takes 2 3 weeks sometimes. And while you waiting in that period, you are curing storage, which is unfair, practice for leadership.
David. He also mentioned the issue of delays. So we'll delve into that a little bit. I hope you can stabilize this internet. Jumu, you can still hear me, right? It's all right. Can you hear me? Okay. Why are we okay? We have David back. David, we lost you for a little bit. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you again.
Yeah. Okay. You were going off giving a litany of problems. I heard you say that you ship now through Guinea, through Conakry.
Yes, through Conakry.
Are you suggesting that shipping through Conakry for goods that's going Monrovia is less headache?
It's less headache. It's a faster process. Uh, you can deal with the headache, but the delay in the clearing of goods from the port of Monrovia is just too hard. I mean, it's just too long. Whereas in Guinea, no matter what you have in a container, 4 cars, 5 cars, they give you one charge, $3,000 for a 40-foot container. Declare it and cross the border. It becomes into the economic zone of West Africa, so they can't charge you so many charges on it like they would do in Monrovia. You know, it's
And
just
go ahead.
yeah, it's just faster. When you get to Conakry, it takes you 2 days maximum for you to get your container out of the port. You get to Monrovia, it takes you 14 days sometime, 15, 30, 20 days. Like my last container, I got one container in port right now because of storage. There was two of them. I cleared one out. And the reason for the storage, we couldn't get the CTM for more than 3 weeks, which I didn't find to be a fair business practice.
So the CTM is the only major challenge. What is it? What about the actual charges? Say customs
The
duty or handling
charges are
charge?
high. The charges are outrageous. I mean, I cannot explain in words how high those charges are. Besides your duties, you spend almost $1,700 just on charges, put handling charges. They got I mean, delivery order for $350, 375. That's high, you know. So it reduces how much we can ship to Liberia. If the government can come up with a better idea to bring this into a ballpark figure that is fair to we the shipper and the economy also that is helpful to the economy, it can I mean it will help a lot.
What you mean ballpark? Because there are different things that you ship into Liberia. So on what commodities are the rates high? Say
Look,
for example, cars or
let's compare it to Guinea. When you ship a 40-foot container to Guinea, we are not Guinean, but in Guinea, you got one charge. You pay that fees, your 40-foot container, whatever in it, come out of port. You don't pay custom on every item in the container. They charge you one fees for 40-foot, one fees for 20-foot,
so
which is not
so
very
so 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 there's not because you are transshipping the goods. Is it for every goods that go to Guinea?
for every goods that go to Guinea. It's not because of transshipment.
Wow. So they just give one fee for the container based on the size, and that's it.
That's it.
You can give me an idea what that fee would be
Or
just for a
for
40 foot
40-foot
container?
in Guinea, it runs 2,500 to $3,000. And for a 20-foot, it's about $2,000 for a 20-foot.
That's it.
That's fixed figure. You pay that, you come out.
It doesn't matter what's in it.
No, no matter what was in it.
Wow, That's a significant difference. Now, in the case of Liberia, I've shipped to Liberia. In fact, just last year, just one vehicle, my my customs duty was around 3,500 for a Ford Edge. That's one vehicle. So if you combine everything that was in the container, was almost a 7,000-8,000. So what you're seeing is significant. I don't know whether the Liberian government can afford to do that because the government relies heavily on customs duty. There are not many other major economic activities other than concession fees and maybe some income tax from private sector.
That is true, Cyrus. But what we look at here is the money making is in the number of shippers. Uh, right now, Liberia have lost over 40% of its shipper to Guinean.
Well, I wish Mohammed was on, who's in Monrovia to be able to validate that. So that there are a lot of people who ship through Guinea because of that.
Lots of people from Philadelphia, all the containers that leave from Philadelphia, almost 90% of it go to Guinea.
Wow. Okay. Well, if you're listening to us and you like to contribute to this program, those are our numbers on the screen. Call WhatsApp. It's 2219-770-114427. If you're in the USA and you want to participate, you can call us on that number 713-909-4460. Mr. Wright, you're back. Can you hear us now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah. Okay. Good, man. Welcome back. You're listening to David. David was stating. In fact, the big thing I take from his statement is that in Guinea, the port of Conakry, which is really almost a day's drive back to Monrovia, at the port of Conakry, the Guineans charge a flat fee on the container. So if you got a 40-foot container, they charge 2,005. You got a 20-foot, they charge 2,000. You pay that no matter what's in the container. You can pull it out of the port. And as a result, a significant number of Liberians are shipping to Guinea and then to come back. But the question I will ask you, David, if you're shipping to Guinea and coming back to Liberia, when you get to the border, you will still do customs.
Yeah, the customs is not the same. I can tell you this, okay? And that's where Liberia, the practice that they have is bad. The custom at the border entrance is almost 75% different compared to the port of Monrovia. If I brought in a BMW through the border, I probably end up paying $1,000 maximum or $700. If I brought it through the port of Monrovia, I end up paying $3,000 plus luxury tax, and depending on the year that the BMW is made, plus what is considered a penalty if it's more than 10 years old, you pay penalties. So, but if you're coming through the border of Guinea to Liberia, you don't pay penalty, you don't pay luxury tax.
Wow.
And,
So,
and,
so,
and, and that equals tax, you don't get to pay it too.
so well, I think the logic is that once you're coming through the border, that means you are in the ECOWAS common market already.
Yes,
So
that's correct.
from what you're saying to me, that means the high fees or relatively high fees, I may say compared to Guinea, is making us to lose a lot of business as even as a government
Definitely.
because it makes sense. Maybe there's a lot of work in terms of driving from Conakry back legally, but even with that long distance, it will cost you less than if you were importing directly to Liberia. And if the number of cargo or containers coming to Monrovia are reducing, it affects also the port cost in Monrovia. How many ships are coming to
Yeah.
Monrovia? It also affects the freight, the charge for the container from, for example, the USA going, because if there are less container, the charges will be higher than if it's economic of scale, right? If there are more
Yeah.
container, more trade, the rates will be lower. So, since you've experienced Guinea, give me an idea. If a 24 container is leaving New York, for example, to Guinea, and I seen, I mean, a 40 foot, and I seen 40 foot leaving to Monrovia, what are the charges? Are they the same?
No, it's not. I'll tell you from Houston here, a 40 foot to Guinea is 3,500, and a 40 foot from Houston to Monrovia is 4,300.
That's $800 more,
That's
and
correct.
it's literally the same distance, more or less.
Same distance.
Wow. Now you see that now. So if the overall cost of importation is high, then for commercial goods, the traders will have to add that up plus their profit to put on the market. So the goods on market in Monrovia will be relatively higher than the goods on the market in a place like Guinea, coming from the same destination. I wanted to say, one of the things I thought to bring a topic like this was, and to draw somebody like the LRA and people making decisions in Liberia was so that it will give reason for people to put the cards on the table and be able to do the comparison and make some smart decisions. Because any way you do it, it also reduces the money that government gets. I know maybe for 2021, there was an announcement and a list in the newspaper that almost 300 containers were being auctioned
Oh,
because for one reason or other, probably the owners couldn't pay the customs duty, or while they were struggling or finding money for the customs duty, the storage fee with APMT went haywire, and they decided to literally abandon the container. David, you've been in and out of the port. Can you throw us some light on this whole auction process and thing, and
The
what
auction
Monrovia is
process
doing?
is is not even it's not in the interest of government to an extent. First, I lost a whole bulldozer to the Port of Monrovia, a bulldozer D7. I ship it, and I ship about three containers at a time. We clear two. One of them delay, and delay. So the bulldozer was sitting there. When the storage grew up to almost $20,000, before then, I wrote a communication to Bryant, who was the APMT manager, asking for a waiver, and he agreed. And then wrote the the NPA, because NPA has to approve it after a certain amount of days. And that communication stayed on the desk of working partner for over 6 months. After everything, I made an offer, tremendous offer, $10,000. The port refused it, only to sell my item for $5,000 to somebody that they favor. You understand? The right now, as we speak, right now, there's over 2,000 container, 2,500 containers sitting in a port because of storage. Right now, as we speak. So with 2,000 containers sitting because of storage, who benefits? Government not making money, APMT not making money, so they must come to a common ground where the bank can just keep charging you fees over and over, over and over, over
Okay,
and
okay,
over.
David, hold to that a second. We'll continue with it. I got a caller on the line. He said he has a question. Can you call your name and then give us your question? Come again. You're not clear. Okay, Clarence, go ahead. Thank you, Clarence. Thank you for your contribution. I think that's the kind of answer that we'll be looking forward to going forward. What can be done to change this equation? David, go ahead. I mean, what Clarence just said was that is the dime and the nickel story. How fast nickel
It's better.
is
They're
going
gonna
to
slow down.
slow down, right? But if you look at, I was looking at the Liberian budget and the amount of money that they take from custom as relative to the total budget, and for them it's a significant amount of money. I hope that new set of people coming in next year will rethink this process, because just think about what's happening with the amount of cargo that's going to Guinea, and then you also think about the loss, because if people continue at auction, if somebody took their savings and bought something goods to sell in Liberia, or maybe they've retired, they bought goods to sell in Liberia, and they end up having an auction. That's one store that never got to open. That less people who could have gotten work from the entrepreneurship and risk of that individual. I don't know. One of the things I thought would be for us Liberians around the world who want to ship to Liberia to have a means of understanding what is it that you really need to do or need to know before you ship. Because look, I don't think 300 persons ship their containers to Liberia with the knowledge that they're going to lose it. There's probably a disconnect somewhere. There's one policy that I found. I asked one of the big guys down there, and they could not explain to me. I used to work with the Ministry of Transport. They have a 10 or 15% penalty CIF value on a car if the car is more than 10 years old. I think it's 15%. So if you import a car, so right now it's 2023. So if you import a car 2012, that means you're not supposed to import that kind of car, so they would charge a penalty of 15% of the cost insurance of freight of that car. So if they appraise the car to be $5,000, of which you're supposed to pay custom, you will pay an additional 15% of that $5,000 as a penalty for importing that car. And these are some of the challenges that makes it hard, that make the cost of call hard. I mean, Mohammed have been trying to come out to join us from Liberia. We have him there now. Let's see if we can get him to talk. Mohammed, can you hear me?
I'm getting you. I should be better now.
Okay, Mohammed, look, sorry that we've gone a little bit without you having your input. I don't know whether you were listening to these guys when they were discussing some of the challenges.
No, I didn't follow through. I was
Okay,
having issue
so
with my internet.
let me give you a quick synopsis, because you are in there, you are in the pool, you're a maritime person, you got an experience there, maybe you help us. One of the callers said one of the major challenges they face in the port from Canada is that there are duplication of charges, especially he gave an example of tracking, CTM, and then there's another group that also provide tracking information, but they all charge fee for that, for the same thing.
Medtech.
Then he said that the services at the port, internet service, most of the time during the processing is on and off, so it forces people to go beyond the allowable days for them to clear their cargo, and as a result, they begin to incur storage charges. Then David, he ships over Houston. He said that the overall cost of call in the port, customs duty, and the rest of it is very high. So a lot of people, he said 40%. I don't know whether you can verify that figure, because I know you once went to Guinea. 40% is moving their cargo out of Guinea. And I asked him what's the logic. He said in Guinea they charge a flat rate per container. It's part of what's in it. So I got you here. You got your own background over there. So tell us first about yourself and what you do, and then see if you can address some of these concerns that have been raised. Welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Mohammed Kaliko Lavely. I'm the CEO of Christopolix Maritime Solution, Liberia Limited. At Christopolix, we are your reliable cargo clearing and forwarding agency. And in addition to our services, we provide end-to-end delivery. We also do trucking. So we've been in the industry for over 10 years. Our work history, we've worked in the private and public sector. So we have experience in policy formation, implementation, and then we also have experience in private sector growth and challenges. So speaking to the issue of some of the challenges for which you said one of the speakers said that there should be the semblance of redundancy in charges. I think I agree. Well, because I'm here to figure out the value GTMS is bringing to our supply chain. All right. The caller, as you said, was making comparison between METEX and GTMS. So METEX is a classification society. I'm sure you all may have had information on the process of how to import and export. So to kickstart the process, once you are a shipper, either from America, Canada, or any part of the world, wanting to bring your cargo to Monrovia, as a shipper, you would have had your commercial invoice, you would have had your packing list, you would have done your booking with the shipping line, and then your choice would be to have a responsible broker, okay, who will file in your paperwork with the Ministry of Commerce. At the Ministry of Commerce, you will have obtained your import permit that allows you to bring in whatever goods you desire to bring. From the ministry, presenting to the ministry the bill of lading, you are presenting your client commercial invoice, your client's packing list. Your clients must have obtained a team number, tax index number. Assuming the person is a first-time user, your process starts from the Liberia Revenue Authority, wherein you should be given your unique tax index number. So you file in the paperwork with the Ministry of Commerce, and then your broker would have attached his or her professional license. So, truth be told, in the time past, the Ministry of Commerce was a little bit slow. There was bottleneck, but today I can tell you, the Ministry of Commerce, the IPD process is fast. In less than hours, you can obtain your IPD. So once the IPD is obtained, you
You say
fall in
how long they will process the IPD now?
maximum 24 hours.
Is 24 hours not too long, Mohammed?
Well, judging from where we came from, it used to take weeks.
Okay.
But today, you can get to the Ministry of Commerce, 12 o'clock, you file in your paperwork, the next morning, you get it.
So why I
I'm
got you there?
comparing,
Mohammed, why I got you there going through the process? At what point in the shipping process do you file for the IPD? Your cargo has to be in the port first?
well, my advice is do not wait for your cargo to get in the port because there are a lot of challenges. So if you look at the supply chain, starting with the port, you have 5 free days without storage. APM terminal will charge. The shipping line, demurrage, 11 days. So given those two factors, the shipping line and the terminal operator 3 days of 11 or 5, not even forget about 11, 5. It's always advisable to leave your cargo far ahead. This is what I said. You should your choice. Your choice is what going to help you maximize services. If you have an experienced broker, he or she would have advised you 30 days ahead of time. That is before the vessel leaves. Start your paperwork because you expect to have issue. Like what you said, the previous caller mentioned about internet problem. I think you saw I had a switch system. It's one of the challenges we have with the LRA. The system is not reliable. The custom operating system, the downtime of the custom operating system is a challenge.
Let me come in just a second, not to cut you off. I made a comparison to shipping to Liberia and the cost for clearing to that of Guinea. In Guinea, to become a broker, because we have a lot of quasi brokers in Liberia, liars and criminals that, took people out of their money. I mean, escalate the prices on everything that you have cleared a container where I spent almost $4,000-5,000 just on processing fees. And in Guinea, in order for you to get a broker license, you must have an insurance, a surety bond. That any error, the government go after your bond. So when the container come, even if your client don't have the money to pay, the custom will use you as a liaison that you will clear that container without paying and carry the container, but the custom expects you to pay back that money in a timely fashion. So they have insurance in it and all of that. We don't have that in Liberia. I don't know
No, I'm
if
sorry.
we
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So the issue of comparative analysis of tariff in Liberia versus tariff in Guinea, I think we should save that for another day. Let's talk about the inland issue, and then let's talk about the inland issue. So as it relates to filing bond, we do have the system here. I'm a lesson broker. Before
okay.
obtaining my license from the LRA, I filed in insurance bond. So yes, you need to make sure whoever you're dealing with, this is what I'm saying, deal with a responsible, deal with a professional broker. Make sure he or she is a licensed broker. We have it here.
Well, how do a first-time shipper get to know,
All of the custom officers are licensed and satisfied by the Liberia Revenue Authority. I'm not an authority. I'm not from the Liberia Revenue Authority. I'm just giving you what I experienced.
Can I
Okay.
add?
Well, Mohammed, the reality is that there are a lot of people who've been handling through a container over there in the other port who are not, who give the impression that they're brokers.
So the honest is on you, the shipper. Make sure know who you're dealing with.
Can I ask you a question, Mohammed, please?
So deal with a responsible broker. You deal with a broker, tell them to show you their office. Do video call. See, yeah. Tell them to show you their office. If you're dealing with a broker that is operating for his bag, I mean,
I
exposure.
can tell you broker that have classic office in Monrovia and they ain't got nothing. They ate my money. They duped me, they duped my sister and two other persons that I recommended to them. And we end up into almost a fight on the phone every time, which I think Cyrus is aware of. I'm not going to say their name to avoid humiliating them publicly, but there are more.
Then I don't think you're ready to solve the problem.
Why?
If you don't want to name and shame, you don't want to solve the problem. You are saying something, sir?
Can I ask you questions to my brother there, the broker?
Please do.
All right. Mohammed, your name, right?
Muhammad Kaliko Lagami.
Okay. I want to congratulate you being. I think
Thank you very much.
being a broker, you have resident in the port. Is it?
I'm afraid you are coming broken.
I don't know why. Anything here.
I think
David, could you mute
Hello. Yeah, mute the background. Hello, are we clear now?
I think it's better.
It's better than before, yeah.
Okay. So I was saying I want to congratulate you because I know that in Liberia these days, a lot of bottlenecks in there, even the customers. So my question here, do any customer always have to use a broker in order to clear their goods from the port? Can I, as an individual customer, go down there and clear my goods? That's the first concern. Let me just put all three to you. Maybe you can jot it down. So then the second concern is, I think this goes to Cyrus, because being that he told us he worked at the Ministry of Transport for some time, there's a 15% surcharge on vehicles that are older than 10 years. So I just want to know, what is the essence of that? Cyrus, maybe you can throw light on that. Back to my brother Mohammed. So the information that you brokers have, because you said something about speedy clearance of your goods, that there are certain documentation that a customer needs to do so that the goods can be cleared in time. So you being a broker, you have that information to your fingertip. Is it possible that an average customer should be liable to those information in order to help them clear their goods instead of going through a broker? Because brokerage, again, is an additional cost. We're already complaining about the cost at the port. So we got to put the broker in there now. It's an additional cost, as my brother David was trying to say, as compared to the port in Guinea. So I'm asking you as a broker, the information you have at your fingertip, are those information available to average customers?
Hello?
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. I think I can answer all three of the questions you've asked.
Okay.
And then, okay, so to start up with, what I'm privileged to, I don't know of recent. I knew that the Revenue Authority had said that individual shippers are obliged to clear cargo. But then here is it. You must be satisfied, because there's a challenge, because you must have been logged in with the custom operating system. So they have a test there. They have a test. Even brokers, we sit. They will sit the professional test in order to obtain license. So the medium to which you want to use that will enable you access the custom operating system, I can speak to that. But I know the said.
Okay. Customs. Okay.
Okay. So the next one, the penalty on vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, these are issues related to our own support. I mean, as a nation, support to maintaining a healthy environment. That's environmental factor. It is believed that cars older than 10 years does more pollution than those of recent. That's the logic.
Okay. Let me just hold you small, Mohammed, onto that. I reside in Canada. And here, even in Canada, even in America, we got cars that were produced in 1965, if I would call it exotic antique cars. These cars plow the streets. And in fact, here in Canada now, we don't even do e-tests anymore. We don't do e-tests, emission tests anymore on our cars. Emission tests anymore on our cars. We do the regular safety, that is to ensure that your car is roadworthy. So now, I'm not saying that we should just allow any kind of dirt to go to Liberia and pollute the system, because maybe the kind of system that these guys run on this side regarding pollution on the car, do we understand it in a sense as they understand it here? If it is, why would places like Canada, maybe even US, I'm not sure about the US, those that are based in US can speak to that. But for me here now, we don't do no more e-tests, and summer is coming. You're going to see 1965, you're going to see the T-motor bogey all flying in the streets here. There is nothing about emission and pollution, anything in that light. How come we kind of applying these kind of laws on our books?
Well, we hope there are authorities from customs here to speak to that. Yeah. But that's what I know. Now, the question to your question about being privileged to information that will enhance service quality for you.
Yeah, speedy clearance. Mm-hmm.
Well, I can say this: my customers will be able to speak to the services we render. So, as said previously, the terminal gives 5 days free storage. The shipping line 11 days. So that's a tight spot to work from. All right. Since I've been operating, I've always endeavored to ensure that my customers do not pay storage. So yeah,
Mohammed, it's about Mohammed, let me just cut you off for a second while you're at it. So you got you here, so let me hear some free PR. Just how can you be easily contacted? It's about a website, email address, or phone number. If you got it, just give it to me. I will tap it now so it can run well for you, and you can go ahead.
Yeah, you can take 086-356-820 WhatsApp. And then
wait, Mohammed, wait. WhatsApp 086
3568 820
2568
35
086 35 68 20, correct?
I'm sharing in the chat room, please.
Good. What else you got?
Email. It's also in the chat room. You can look it up.
Good. So go ahead. Send it in the chat room. I will take it from there.
So as I was saying, one needs to be very careful. You got to be very meticulous in the shipping process, because it becomes a burden to you if you do not keep eyes on the various processes. You have about 45, 60, let's say 45 to 60 days for your container to leave from the US, Canada to Liberia. And then your freight forwarder must have given you your estimated time of arrival. So there are indicators. Make sure before your container arrives at the Freeport, you must have had your IPD, you must have had your CRF, your clean report of findings. It is the clean report of findings you want to log in the custom systems to get your assessment notice. Once you have your assessment notice, you are eligible to make payment to the central bank on a manager's check. So once that payment is done, you can approach the terminal operator, that's APM terminal, because you would have had the custom reference. And then once you get to APM terminal, you pay APM terminal charges. APM terminal will give you a release. You would have already received your delivery order from the shipping line. One of the areas you need to be careful in the shipping line. Normally, the shipping line operates with the original.
Hold on a second, Mohammed. Somebody, David, is that you who unmuted just now? I think the problem coming from you. So just mute until Mohammed finish talking there. Other people will mute for you to come on. Go ahead, Mohammed. Yeah,
Okay,
Mohammed,
sorry,
you're
you got a
speaking.
number?
Yeah, the number is in the studio. Those who are viewing can see it.
So
Christopher
as
is. Go ahead.
things you want to avoid from the shipping line side, the shipping line will always give you the original bill of lading. You need to surrender the original bill of lading to the shipping line in order to obtain your delivery order. So normally it should come through the, the mail system, the courier system, the hard copy, and then your broker or the shipper will take it to the shipping line. But then there are alternatives. You can ask for teller's release. I know of a situation that the shipping line surrendered the bill of lading to this shipper in America, and then the person kept it, and their customer, their agent went to the shipping line for days. They couldn't get release. That's just $50. So you, the shipper, all you need to do at that point, surrender it, give it back to the shipping line, and say you want teller's release. So you don't have to pull that bit of lading in the mail. They will send the teller's release to the local office, and the charge there will be $50, between $50 to $70, varies on the shipping line. So you save yourself that headache.
All right. Let me just mention one more point, Mohammed, before you come. I will go to David, please. David, I know you want to come on. So, as a broker, what is your average charge? What should I say? Based on 20-footer container, 40-footer, or a car on the deck of the ship that gets landed at port? How do you go about arriving at your charges as a broker?
So the service charge varies from categories of customers. So for individual customer, someone that is doing one-time shipment, and then someone that is doing monthly, that is bringing volume. So at that level, it is negotiated, but it's anywhere between 250 to 500.
Okay, David. Let's see. Let's see. Come back in again. As David come in, let's continue.
Yeah, my issue with what you said, Mohammed, everything you said is very correct and clear. My issue with the brokers, like I said, if I was shipping a container from the States and you caught 10 brokers and asked them for breakdown on the fees, the charges, all 10 of them will come up with different numbers. All 10 of them, they will come up with different numbers that will build up to sometimes 2,000 plus dollars. So I know you guys handle it a little different in your office, as I would hope. But if the charges in the port was published online, like on this website right now, or you know, published somewhere that the brokers have as a place that people can go to information, the APM charges is this, or delivery order is this, truckers fees from point A to B, it varies, you know, give an idea on what it will be. You will have a lot of happy customers, but if you ask 10 brokers for the charges from the port, you get 10 answers. And I think that problem can be easily solved if you guys, as the brokers union, come together and publish such a thing, because it is one thing that's killing us, the shipper. You don't get to know what your charges are until the container actually hit port. So you never had an expectation for another $1,000 or $2,000 in charges besides your duty. You had your duty waiting to pay, but then all of a sudden they come up with another $1,500 or $2,000 in charges. So you throw that customer off, and all of a sudden the container cannot come out because he did not have $1,000. So if you guys can
Thank you.
work together
Thank
and
you.
publish
Let me
something
try.
like that.
Let me say something about this. Your name again, please, because it's not appearing. Your name, please.
I'm David Zina.
Oh, okay, Mr. Zina, thank you very much. So it's all about the issue of the level of unemployment in the
We have
country.
echo, so if we can mute, that will be fine. So Mohammed can answer.
It's about the level of unemployment in the country. I'm saying this to say that most of the people you all deal with, you're right. Firstly, the most are the charges will not be uniform. Among many reasons, let me share this with you, and then you could get clued. Not all, but some of the people you are dealing with are not brokers. One of the issues we have in the supply chain is middleman, legal hustlers. So they will give you information. Remember, they're going to feed on it, and then the people who are going to do the work also need to feed on it. So it boils down to reaching out to credible institutions, reputable personalities, satisfy brokers to do your work. And in addition to that, I know there were times government was working in fulfillment of the World Trade Organization ease in doing business. They were calling on the Custom Broker Association, the Choker Association, and other service providers to publish their fees on the website. I think that is a work in progress. That is being handled by the Ministry of Commerce. They got a trade facilitation committee at the Ministry of Commerce. They are working on that.
Okay, Mohammed, let me hold you there. We had iterated earlier that there is an issue with electricity, that the Ivorians, at least it's been reported that the Ivorians have announced that they're going to reduce the quota of current they're going to give to Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. And that will impact how much current LEC has to distribute in Monrovia. We've asked Jerry Taylor from CLSG to come. He's been waiting in the back. I think he just jumped out a little bit. I wanted to give him a chance to just speak to that so we don't hold him too much. Jerry, can you hear me? Jerry, I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
Hello? Yeah. I'm not hearing you too clear. You kind of faint. So I don't know whether it's only at my end. I heard it was faintly.
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me better now?
Yes. I mean, if everything around me is quiet, I can hear you. But let's manage it.
Yeah, good. Like I iterated to you, we got news that the CIE from Cote d'Ivoire has announced that she's reducing her power. First, if that is true, let us know. Give us a detail of what's going on, because we know that will be impactful on the availability of current in our system in Liberia.
All right. First, let me say hello to everybody. It's good that we gave you the information that is needed, especially when we get news of negativity. It's better to clear up to see what's happening, what is and what is not. The situation of as you heard it, and I think you saw it in the papers. I saw one newspaper, if not many, but at least I saw one newspaper headline that said, Cote d'Ivoire reduced power to Liberia up to 15 megawatt. What actually happened, these are things that normally occur during operations of electricity or power, so to speak. There is a little situation in Abidjan or where we have experienced, according to the information given us, something went little wrong on the Ivorian side of the line, which is now under repair. The Ivorian inform us that because of the situation of the land that dropped one of the phases, the strategic thinking that besides Liberia, it is a blanket restriction given to all the off-takers from the Ivorian network. That is Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea for the CLSG project. I cannot speak much about the Burkina Faso line, but the three, we were informed that the three countries will be experiencing.
Well, we lost Jerry for a minute. As soon as he come back, okay. Jerry, we cannot hear you. Jerry, if you can hear me, we cannot hear you. Jerry, we cannot hear you at all. Is it
Hello?
Yeah, we can
Hello?
hear you now. We couldn't hear you first, but we can hear you now.
Sorry. All right. If I may start over, let me
Jerry, is LEC carrying the current already?
come in.
I say LEC carry the current already? I mean, we just lost you.
Oh no, there's
Okay, man,
maybe these are signals from the internet. Okay, so let me say thank you for the opportunity so we can clear the air on what is and what is not. What actually happened on the Ivorian line, we were informed by the Ivorian Power Authority, that is CI Energies, that there was a situation with their land that lead to the thermal center or the thermal plant, where some of the power, the mix, Ivorian power is mixed. So where some of the power come from on that land, there has been some situation of the land being tampered with by some vessel, which is along the port. So that land was tampered with. So what they did, they decided for a strategic reason to reduce the power until that land can be fixed. So it is not only Liberia. So they inform us, which is the CLSG authority, that Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone power will be reduced for the moment until that situation can be handled. But let me just tell you that in power operations, these things happen. Sometimes you may have wind, sometimes you may have lightning, sometimes you may have tree falling. So when the line has a problem, first thing you do, you take the necessary action on that. So this is a necessary action from the Ivorian authority to remedy the situation. So, but even as we have the reduction or information to reduce power, it's not even 15, it's 10 that Liberia should take, but it is a period. That is During the peak period, which is between 6 p.m. to 12 midnight, is where the restrictions are, because that is the peak hour or peak period in the Ivorian or within the jurisdiction of Ivory Coast for power usage. So within this period from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight, because of that loss of generation power from the thermal plant, they have asked the three countries to minimize the power to that amount. Is about 15 Sierra Leone, there's 10 Liberia, and 6 Cote d'Ivoire. For the period that they will be repairing this situation that occurred on their line.
Did they give an idea?
But even at that, we still having this between. I mean, once we out of the scope of the period, peak period in Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia has taken, even yesterday, we noticed that Liberia at peak, we had 48 megawatt on the Liberian land being used. So it is not a damning situation where we should panic or lose sleep about it. These are things that happen in operations. When the land, has some problem, you take a necessary, action to remedy the problem. So that's what happened. So it's not permanent issue. It's just temporary until the land can be fixed. Then we'll come back to normal. But like I just told you yesterday, Liberia took as high as 48 megawatt.
Okay, sorry, but thanks a lot. Thanks for that assurance. I mean, in our last discussion when Shibayo was here, he said they were taking a maximum of 25. So if they're taking 48 yesterday, then that's good news. I hope the Ivorians can solve this problem, and so we can keep on taking into the Ivorian line for as much as we can satisfy the demand for power in Liberia. I really appreciate that on a short notice you come to clarify this for us. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. I mean, if you'd like to stay with us to talk about shipping,
All
that's
right,
good.
bye-bye.
We're going to pass on to Mohammed. Mohammed? Well, sorry, this was important. We're waiting for it because we've heard that the Ivorians had reduced the quantity of power given to us. But from what Jared is saying, it seems it's an operational problem, a regular operational problem. So no need for anybody to panic. So let's get back to our
That's
issue of
okay.
shipping. You were coming up with I think you were in an interchange with David on some of the processes. I mean, I understand from what you were saying that the broker is key. The broker that wants to select to work for him is key. So I'll just let you guys go from there. Go ahead. So David,
I
you
think-
can pick up from there. Who was in the middle?
Yeah, no, I was asking or trying to see how best Mohammed and the broker union can come together to publish. The fees, the port handling charges fees, just those fees alone. It throws a lot of clients, a lot of customers. I mean, I ship for myself, I ship for other people. And the worst situation they can fall in is when the items arrive in Liberia and there's this $2,300 fees that's added. We understand that, the lack of job, it causes people to do different things. However, every fees that they charge, there's an extra 100, 200, 150 added on it. Even places that they don't go and bribe, they will put bribe. The means, processing fees and all of that. So if the fees are known and noted, then you can come up and say, look, for all the fees here, for us to process it, we need to get kickback and stuff like that. It will cost you extra $100 or $200. It's understandable. But to come up with fees just from the blind, Mohammed, is something that
Thank you, Zena.
yeah.
I wasn't saying because in a country this is what people charge. I'm saying likelihood exists that some of the people we're dealing with are themselves not brokers.
David, can you mute your system?
Some of the people you might be dealing with are not brokers. They are middlemen. They secure the contract from you, the opportunity, and then they give it to someone licensed or who is in the business to do the work. So you just need to be sure of who you're dealing with in order to reduce costs,
But
reduce your rates.
if I may ask there, Mohammed, I think when David talking about fees, I think it's a little bit confusing though. The port handling fees are fixed fees, right? Those are published fees, right? Or what it costs for port handling by 20-foot container per 40-foot
It's
container.
THC is yeah, it's fixed.
So by fees, he's talking about what a broker charges.
And then it depends. And then there could be additional surcharges depending on the characteristic of the cargo. Like for instance, if it is frozen, there is surcharge. If it is hazardous, there is surcharge. Like for instance, if you are bringing use X box, remember the freezer or the X box, so that could be flagged as hazard, and there could be a surcharge.
For S-Bars.
It has gas.
So does that apply also to the electronics companies, the Lebanese stores that bring in S-Bars, they charge in that too?
The tariff is it's not discriminatory.
Okay. So I think that fees, and that's a good point because if somebody doesn't understand the fees and they have an expectation that this subsidy will be $2,000, by the time the container arrives and it's time to pay, he finds out at $4,000. Well, before you know, after the 5 days, then it comes to be every day more money adding. By the time you
Every day
go
more.
one month, you're going to $15,000 or $20,000. You understand the rationale? So are there certain
Yeah, but I don't know.
Are there
Like
certain
for okay,
categories
so
of fees? Are there certain categories of fees that will be automatically
that's what we
fixed?
do. We give you performance, and it's highly unlikely that they will change.
Okay. So I mean, so Lola, you're marketing yourself particularly.
I'm
Though.
saying this.
I
Yeah,
ain't got
it's
problem
highly
with that,
unlikely that will change. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, David, you Jumo. Well, before I come back to you guys, somebody sent a question in the chat room. Why are we depending on CI, Cote d'Ivoire, for power when we have all the waterfalls in Liberia? I wish they had watched the edition of our show 2 weeks ago when we had LEC, Mr. Taylor from the transmission line who just left us here to clarify that. I may take a second to deal with it, right? So the West African countries came together and they decided that each country produces different levels of power, some little, some more. So they decided to create Transcorp, CLSG, which is Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. And they ran a transmission line between these 4 countries. So what is it that any country that produces power and has excess power, they can put into that line. Those who got less power, you can buy current from that line. So yes, we have less capacity now because according to our last meeting, LEC is producing only 19 megawatts from my coffee, even though they were built to put up 88 around about, but they have problems there. They are not taking fuel from the Bushra Island plant because the diesel price is high. So about 2 weeks ago, they were taking like 25 megawatts from the Ivory Coast. Where I come to Jerry yesterday, his meter reading at his company was that they took more than 48, right? At some point in time, if Liberia developed the capacity to get more current, it will go in the line. That means we will sell excess power to other people too. But as it right now, Mohammed, you attest to it, you know, we already got capacity problem even in Monrovia. Not everybody got current, and LEC is rationing. I hope that answers that question some. Yeah, okay, so let's get back to our shipping thing. David, was it you or Mohammed still on the floor on the issue of the rates? Mohammed?
Yes. So there's an ongoing process. in fulfillment of the WTO. So there's going to come a time, the Ministry of Commerce is the head of this process, ease in doing business, Trade Facilitation Committee. One of the action items there is the publication of the various price listings, the shipping line, the Port Authority, the Brokers Association, the Trucker Association, and all other service providers should be pulled through the Trade Facilitation Committee. So that's a work in progress.
Okay, I mean, if that is a work in progress, we will look out for it. But until that can happen, we are losing a lot of business to other to foreign country. I can assure you that. I mean, that I know you're aware of in Monrovia. Uh, for me, on an annual basis, we might do about 20 or 30 container, and my 20, 30 container, I made up my mind about a couple of months back after facing those charges and things from the port that I'm not going to take this chance anymore. And I hate to take business from Liberia
Not
to
taking
give.
not taking the chance anymore. It's giving up on the professional people we have here. Who can trust us. We're not trying to get a business.
No, I mean, I would like to try you. I would like to try your business because I'm currently thinking about sending in frozen goose, frozen chicken and stuff like that. Um, Nobody can come up with a figure to even tell me what, because the chicken and stuff come in tonnage. So if I was sending in 25 ton or 2 ton or 3 ton, what's the charges? Are they charging by tonnage or they charging by container load? Or I've asked those questions for
All right,
months.
so you have the email, you have the number, send it to me. But here's, do not put in your order wait until you receive your IPD. Because frozen product, I won't. Some of the commodities, I can tell you, will have challenge because the Lebanese want to bring this on market until you obtain the import permit. That is approval from the Ministry of Commerce to bring in frozen product. I would say you have not started. Let's clear that part of it.
Mohammed, could you repeat?
Mr. Zinai is talking about importing frozen product. Very good. Coming from a Liberian, a businessman. I do not want him to have challenge in as much as I want a business, but I want us to do due diligence. Let's obtain our import permit from the Ministry of Commerce. Let's get a permit. Let's get the authorization. Let's get the approval from the Ministry of Commerce that indeed we can bring it in. I'm afraid because this is being dominated by Lebanese and there could be some.
Well, they're going to push back to stop the Liberian from doing it. I mean, let's put it on the table.
Until I can get a customer that wants to bring in an import or frozen product and I apply from the Ministry of Commerce, if I'm denied or not, before I can speak to that.
Well, okay. While you guys are it looked like you need to give me an address between you and David so I can send you invoices for promoting your business on the network. Yeah.
No, I mean we are providing. Well, we hope we can be proud of
Anyway, Mohammed, I will contact you in reference to that. I should have done this business should have taken place since December, but because I couldn't get anything clear from Liberia, I delayed it up until.
Let me share with you. So a businesswoman reached out to me because with my past experience in the port.
They
So
like your system.
they wanted to know whether they can get franchise from these frozen, from these foreign national doing business here, especially in the frozen business. They wanted to know whether they could get franchise. For instance, they got various branches, so they wanted to open one of those service points in the Leeward counties. And I personally reached out, and I was told it's not possible. So what the guys are doing, they are actually doing it. You don't blame them. Maybe it's a risk factor. They are actually doing it with either close relatives or immediate associates. So this is something I started working on. So it'll be a good thing to continue. This person wasn't talking about importing. He was talking about serving as a sales agent.
Wow. So I
Can
mean,
I?
something coming out of this now. So it appears as though
So meaning, so you see, you have a business. So I can easily link you with this person because they got the idea of selling in Liberia. They were looking for a supplier locally. They couldn't get a local supplier. So if they can get a supplier from outside, I think it's laudable. That'll be a good one.
but you're saying that to even do that, you need to get the permit from Ministry of Commerce, right?
It's not every goods you bring into the port, you need to get permit.
Is the permit the same as the IPD that you get, or is just separate
Is
procedure?
it's the same IPD.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
So that
so
even
it's the same
so that even
IPD.
makes
But
sense
let
that
me
you should process the IPD before you even load your goods.
Yeah, so let me say this. In as much as I'm telling you that the Ministry of Commerce process is fast as compared to the past, but it's stratified. There are commodities. If I went today to the Ministry of Commerce requesting for RPD for personal effect, I can get it in 24 hours because I customer service is able to handle that. But if I'm bringing in rice, I want to bring in first frozen product, I think my RPD has to go upstairs for approval.
Wow. Anyway, I don't want to put you on the wall, but is there a logic? Is there a logic for that you can explain to me?
Now I can say, but I mean it's part of due diligence. So the commerce authority will tell you that we want to know the quantity of goods coming in the country. The personal effect, you don't have to regulate that.
Okay. So how does
How
that
how
how
does
does
that
that
how does
how does
that
that
how
Mohammed?
does that Mohammed?
Terry, can you mute for a minute? How does that correlate with imports from the border, from the land borders? Because earlier we were talking about Guinea, so short of talking about what are the tariffs, how are the tariffs now high. So if somebody want to import rice from Guinea, for example, how is it different from importing it to Freeport of Monrovia?
If you are bringing in rice, if you are bringing in product, it depends. So there is the ECOWAS trade level. There are considerations in terms of trade between one African country, especially West African country, to another West African country. Especially if you can provide the certificate of origin, you will not pay either some of the levies or duties. So it's cheaper. And then another thing again, this is why I said let's save that analysis with the Guinea Liberia comparison. I the system, the custom system may not be fully automated, so you can you can easily
You can easily do what?
we can save that and talk it another time. That's a full detail. But it's professionally, I can come and tell you without the numbers. I can come and I'm a professional person. I can come and tell you that the tariff in Guinea is lower than the tariff in Liberia.
But that should be that. But Mohammed, that should be information that is public information. That's secret. I said that you don't know about it.
No,
That's a
I'm okay. So let me say this. I know I'm at a custom authority. custom authority that said no. So we have to go back there. And the person is a professional person. I'm sure they knew where they were speaking from.
Oh, and they said that the tariff in Guinea is not lower than the tariff in Monrovia. That's what you said.
Yes.
Okay. But in any case,
I respect this person's opinion. I respect this person's opinion from the professional standpoint. I know he or she wouldn't tell you.
In any case, transshipment cargo are charged lower than destination cargo. So if somebody is shipping a container through Guinea that is coming to Liberia, obviously they will not be paying customs duty at the port of Guinea. So
but they should pay. They should pay when they get to the border. They should pay the rightful tax when they get to the Liberian side.
What the difference is now.
They should
but the
pay.
fact that people are using Guinea, do you agree that people are going through Guinea in significant number?
They are.
There must
myself did once.
There must be some value in it.
There is.
I mean, my thing is, except we're suspecting that they're breaking the laws or they're cutting corners, then maybe there's something that we're not doing very well at the Freeport of Monrovia. They're making people to take their goods far off and have to drive it all the way back to Monrovia.
Well, so what I can confirm to you, the freight.
Mm-hmm.
The freight is lower.
How lower?
The freight is lower about 30 to 40%.
So you're a port expert. You're trained in that. I mean, well, you guys, let me let you know that Mohammed is a product of the World Maritime University with a master's degree in. So why is the port and the rate for the same ship, the same vessel that coming down?
No, it's not the same vessel. It's the issue of the economy of scales. The bigger, the better. When did we dredge our port? We dredged our port last week. Getting it to 13.
So there's more business in Guinea.
Our port was only dredged 2 weeks ago, getting to 13 meters. Until then, we were only bringing in vessels with 10.5 meter draft. So bigger vessels were incoming. All right. So the economy of scales, the bigger the better. The vessels that we're calling our port are smaller vessels, so you pay high. In Guinea, you got bigger vessels going. The berth. How many berths do we have at the Freeport of Monrovia? We have a berth of 600 meters. All right. The best it can take will be 3 vessels at a time. But then it depends on the LOA.
Mohammed, that one thing you're talking, the size of the vessel is not only dependent on the dredging of the port, it also dependent on the volume of the trade. How much containers coming to Monrovia relative to Guinea? No shipping line will send their 13 TEU container ship to Monrovia when they're going to be dropping 200 containers. So what volume of containers coming to? You have an idea what did the throughput for the Freeport of Monrovia say last year or 2021 relative to?
Let's get authorities from the National Port Authority to speak to volume or the LRA.
Okay.
Can I come here a little bit, Cyrus?
I'll give you that one. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
So yeah, I got a few concerns here, and I'll put some on your deck, Cyrus. And this program is very good, and I think it's informative. And as we progress, I think we'll have more problems. We'll have more problems solved, yes. And maybe the people in Liberia, it's unfortunate. I think you try to reach out to some of the authority at the port to be able to be here in the panel for this discussion to give us information. There are a lot of Liberians in the diaspora, even within the region, that actually want to do business or want to ship stuff to Monrovia, Liberia. I don't know whether this kind of information, the people at the port have it. There's a huge volume of trade that they are missing from the Liberians in the diaspora, apart from your business people out there that are doing it. So I just want to put that on the table to you. And you, Mohammed, you're a businessman. I agree. You speak within the context of your business. Yes, you are not an authority of the port to handle certain, information. So I understand when you try to digress a little bit, it's understandable because you don't have the authority to speak to that, and we don't want to push you too much to the wall because of that. But as a businessman, when you came on the set, you try to, when you were asked to make an introduction, you try to bring a little business snippet on what you do and stuff like that. Consider and add. That's a smart move. It's good. I just want to send a little advice to you that you being one of the brokers so far that I've been able to confront here, that perhaps I could be able to market to the population here in Canada. So I don't know whether you have a website, sir. If you do, gather some information regarding how shippers from the diaspora can ship stuff. Anyone who want to get involved, any Liberian, let it be specifically targeting Liberians who want to send their containers, cargoes, and everything like my brother talking about doing, frozen goods, and already give the merits and demerits and then the criteria to follow through. I think if you can do that, you are opening a far greater avenue for your business expansion. And I want to ask a question to my brother David out there. David, I know you're in the business and there's a lot of frustration. You not try the Port of Monrovia, even going all the way to Guinea. It's not easy. I want to know from you, sir, your problems. I'm looking at it to be of twofold, but I wanted to discuss the magnitude. Are you getting more problem from the clearance house, like the work that Mohammed is doing, or is your problem more from the charges that is being charged at the port based on what one of the shippers just gave me that I put on the show earlier on? What are your
Mohammed, you are mute. I mean, David, you are muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, the charges in the port is high. Besides it being high, with all these devious brokers without license, without anything, they sell themselves out there as brokers, and people deal with them. And some people get their goods out. They add so much fees onto the port handling charges that makes the charges almost 3 times more than what it should be. Between you and I, to clear a container out of the port, all the handling charges should not exceed $700. But if you ask anybody that have cleared from the port, they spend close to $2,100. That's 3 times more. It should not exceed $700 based on my logic. I've been doing this for 20 some more years now. And all the charges I know of, they got truckers union charge, broker union charge, Joe slot. I don't know what is Joe slot, but they got something they call Joe slot, which is like a skill that they go there, weigh the truck and stuff like that. And then the port handling charges or APM terminal handling charges that doesn't exceed quite $250. I mean, those are charges that people can handle easily. But when you going through the broker will bring that charge up to $2,100 sometime. Okay, the broker fees is $300. I mean, I'm surprised that Mohammed said they charge $250 to $500, but that's within the ballpark. Broker fee is $300 for a 40-foot container. So it's in two parts that the port needs to work on its handling charges and also come down on these brokers to make sure that they're not overcharging the customers or the shippers from overseas, which will facilitate the process for all of us as we save money. Nobody can build Liberia equal to people from the diaspora. We invest the most money into Liberia than anyone else you can think about. Compared to taking care of family, because almost 85% of the country is not working. So most of their feeding come from here. What we send is what sold and help family and whatnot. And when it boils down to construction, the people that afford to easily construct Liberia the way we want it to be will be people from here because they have a reliable job compared to a guy on ground that got no job. He hustling here and there. So if they play us such a foul, they play us in such a way, it only reduces our hands from investing in Liberia. It reduces our hand. As we speak right now, I got people I got a girl out of what's the place? Manila, the Philippines, that's encouraging me to do some work with her into doing business there. But I prioritize Liberia for what I do. I prioritize Liberia. Right now in Liberia, I have over 7 yellow machines sitting down, never worked for over 5 years, just sitting down, no work. For over 5 years, because government prioritize who they give their contract to, So my next move is to sell those equipment. That's so much investment. That's close to a $500,000 investment right there, just sitting there. And until our government or the port can understand the value of the people from the diaspora, whether we ship by land or by air, the survival of that country and its economy and construction of that country is dependent upon these people from here. Because sometimes when we ship, they see us as enemy of the state. They want to eat everything off of you until you to the bare boom. I've seen guys laughing, they clearing your container, they giving you charges, and they laugh about it, because they make extra money. So that's my problem right there. Like you said, which way it come from? It starts from the port and end up with the broker union. If the broker union don't come together, they themselves will lose. They lose a lot. They've lost a lot of business over the years. The more organized they are, the better it will be for all of us. So if that answer your question, I think I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. You can just mute your system. Okay. Look, we have been a few enriched minutes of discussion about shipping. I know we are going to be even blessed if we had people from the LRA on customs. I really wanted to talk about the rates and with people who are in authority. I understand your position, Mohammed, but we're running into our end time, so I will give each of you guys, starting with James Wright from Canada, a few minutes to give us some parting comments and maybe give us an idea on some of the things that have been laid on how you think things can be done better from your perspective, and then we'll go on to Mohammed.
All right. I want to first thank Cyrus for this program. I hope that the platform can be enriched so that we can discuss more of Liberia's problem as we see it from the diaspora and see what the authority on the ground will be able to do to assist their fellow Liberians. As I always said and maintained, that the middle class of our country, all right, is the people that are in the diaspora. I want to also thank Mohammed, being a broker out there too, that he braving the storm, whatever it is, to try to do a business and rendering services to Liberians in the diaspora and those who are doing importation and stuff and doing some clearing stuff. I also want to give special thanks to David, that despite the fact with all the problems, he's still trying to maneuver one way or the other to ensure that his business stay afloat. I know it's not an easy thing. And to you, Cyrus, and it's unfortunate for us this evening that we're not able to have an authority, someone who could speak candidly on the problems that are at the port or how the port is being handled to enhance business where Liberians in the diaspora will be able to benefit. So I'm hoping that next time, maybe when we're running, such a thing, we try to make some connection. I know you did try, and some of them kind of they gave, little blind excuses and stuff. But it's a good thing that you're doing, and I think it will benefit Liberia and Liberians in the diaspora.
Thank you, Juno. Ladies and gentlemen, we've about reached the end of our program. Just maybe to give a synopsis, at least we had people here expressing some of the issues they face with shipping to Liberia. And we're glad to have Mohammed, who is based in Liberia and runs his company there, to come up and give us some of the recommended solutions. Well, I recommend, thanks that we have Mohammed here. We have his number and his email on the screen. If you are hoping to ship to Liberia and you need help or you need somebody to give you some leeway, contact Mohammed. I was hoping he could give us some closing, parting statements, but he's caught up already. In Liberia, you got among other things, internet problem and all that. Somewhere in the show, we're fortunate to have Jerry Taylor come from Transco, CLSG, to clarify the current issue that is on stake, that the Ivorians have announced they will reduce the quantity of power they will share with Sierra Guinea and Liberia. He said that's not a big deal. They have a technical problem and they're trying to fix it. So as usual, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll be back here next Sunday, again with another informative topic. One of the things that Jumo stated, I probably don't want to put too much weight on. A lot of people who are in public position are not used to getting in the public space to talk about their work, which is unfortunate, because the best thing that you can do when you are holding a position of trust is to hear from the people whose life you are impacting because of the work you do, and that should help to improve the way you provide your services. So I will hope that in the future we have more people. Some of it too is because, outside of these kind of broadcasts, I'm a kind of critical person, so maybe some guys are afraid that when you get in the open air with me, I might put them in a bad position to compromise themselves. But how be it, look, welcome to Election Central. We want to use this platform to actually not besmirch anybody, not to lean onto any particular political opinion, but discuss issues concerning our country. We didn't get Henry from the Elections Commission today, so we hope that we'll get him next Sunday to give us an update as we go closer to the critical period in elections, so we understand what's going on. Again, thank you for joining us, and have a great Sunday. Jumo, thank you. Hope you have a good Sunday out there in Kenya.
Thank you.
Smile for me, even if you're sad. Be good to me, even if you bad. Stay with me, even if you've got some place to be. Pray with me, even if you still break my heart too. Sing for me, even though your voice they crack. Oh.